Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another riveting episode of Breaking Boundaries for Entrepreneurs, where we venture deep into the uncharted territories of success, into self-mastery and innovation. And today we dive headfirst into the turbulent waters of our physical well-being as we explore the profound connections between the relentless cadence of worry and its tangible repercussions on our health. This isn't just another discussion, it's a catalyst for introspection as we explore the physiological manifestations of our concerns. We'll leave you with questions that will serve as a paradigm shift, an opportunity to transcend the confines of worry and chart a new course towards boundless success. Hello, I'm Jeffrey Mort. If you're like most entrepreneurs, you're busy taking care of business, yet who's taking care of you? If you're ready to take your energy and performance to the next level in your life and your business, then this podcast is for you. Because today, you're going to start breaking boundaries of your mind, body, and business with integrative health. And when you do that, your possibilities are limitless. I'm grateful you're here. Yes, I am always grateful for you joining me here today. Welcome to another Mind Your Monday episode of the Breaking Boundaries podcast for entrepreneurs. And this one is episode number 29. And of course, you'll want to stay to the end when we bring it all together for you on how to avoid failure and reach your next level of success with integrative health. And for all those show notes and links, visit jeffreymort.com, click on the podcast button. All right, shout out today to our listeners in Olympia, Washington. Thank you for listening. Also in Flower Mound, Texas. What a unique name that is. And that is on the north shores of Grapevine Lake down there in Texas. Also Billings, Montana, and Tilton, New Hampshire, which is just about 125 miles north of the Breaking Boundaries for Entrepreneurs podcast studio. So today, you are going to discover, my friend, the consequences of worry and some tools to keep you out of it. So many entrepreneurs have this boundary, and worry refers to thoughts, images, and emotions and actions of a negative nature in a repetitive, uncontrollable manner, and I will disagree with that uncontrollable part, that results from a proactive cognitive risk analysis made to avoid or solve anticipated potential threats and their potential consequences. Now, that's the definition of worry that I got from Wikipedia. So, what are some entrepreneurial concerns? And I said I wanted to disagree with that because the uncontrollable part, everything is within your control, especially worry, and that's what we're covering here today. So some entrepreneurial concerns. What do entrepreneurs tend to worry about? What are they concerned about? Well, for one, things like market viability. Entrepreneurs often worry about whether there's a sufficient demand for their products or their service in the market that they're in. Then they need to assess if their business idea will attract enough customers to be sustainable. And that's usually a big worry with new entrepreneurs. Next is financial stability. Maintaining adequate cash flow in the business and securing funding and managing financial resources are significant concerns for many entrepreneurs. They worry about covering their expenses and paying employees and having working capital and ensuring profitability. They also worry about competition. Entrepreneurs must constantly monitor and respond to competitors in their industry. And I'll slightly disagree with that one as well. They worry about staying ahead or at least keeping pace with rival businesses. Now, that's typical for many industries, but not so much in the wellness industry. I don't want to say healthcare industry, but in the wellness industry that I'm in, it is more collaborative than competitive because honestly, there are more people out there than I can help single-handedly or with my team. So I enjoy collaborating with other with other health practitioners so that, I can help them with struggling. It's sort of the mastermind theory that I apply when we can bring our minds together and come up with new and innovative and better ways to be able to help the masses and people like yourself. So other concerns for entrepreneurs are health concerns. And what do entrepreneurs worry about when it comes to health? Well, first, their physical health. Entrepreneurs often face the risk of neglecting their physical health due to the demands of their business. They may worry about maintaining a healthy lifestyle or getting enough exercise and eating well. That's, mostly what people focus on is the diet and exercise aspect of physical health. And then there's mental health, the mental health aspect. The stress of running a business can take its toll on entrepreneurs' mental health, and they may worry about things like burnout, anxiety, depression, and of course, they should always seek to manage these issues effectively, but there are ways to be able to mitigate these things using integrative health, and we did cover that in a previous episode as well. Work-life balance is another worry. Entrepreneurs frequently struggle to balance their work and their personal lives. They worry about spending enough time with family and friends and taking breaks to relax and recharge. And that's a worry that many entrepreneurs struggle with. And then there's things like insurance and healthcare costs, having access to quality healthcare, and the rising cost of health insurance can be significant and reason for concern for all entrepreneurs, especially if they're self-employed or have a small team to provide benefits for. And healthcare, worrying about healthcare costs is one of the reasons why I chose to take control of my own health and be the health coach in my own home. And you can do the same as well. Through the same place that I learned my modalities of integrative health, and that is the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. We will link them up in the show notes. And if you're interested in becoming a health coach, so you don't have to worry about some of those things and feel out of control, you can check out this link and you can learn more about that. And rounding out the top 5 things that entrepreneurs may worry about when it comes to health is long-term health and retirement planning. Entrepreneurs often lack the traditional benefits and retirement plans offered by larger corporations and companies. They worry about planning for their long-term financial security and healthcare needs as they age. And that's one more reason why to plan early. Just like a retirement plan, you want to start planning early, and that way that compounding interest can accrue and generate more revenue for you when you do finally retire. Well, same thing goes with your long-term health. If you start planning early, like most people in their 40s are not worried about their health when it comes to their, 60s, 70s, and 80s. But when you start getting into your 60s, now you're thinking about what's my health going to be like in my 70s. And honestly, most people in their 60s are on medications and struggling with health issues. And that's why I'm here, not just specifically for that age group, but to help you to plan ahead while you're in your 40s or even 30s for that matter. It's never too early. And certainly when you get into your 50s, definitely some plans should be in place. So these concerns, they can vary depending on, a specific industry or a business model or individual circumstances of that particular entrepreneur. However, addressing both business and health concerns, it's essential for long-term success and well-being. So what do we do here? What do we do? Well, first, let's address the consequences of worry. Worry triggers a cascade of effects on the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. That's known as the HPA axis. And it begins with the release of something that's called CRH, corticotropin releasing hormone. And this is released from the hypothalamus and leading to the secretion of cortisol from the adrenal glands. So the hypothalamus triggers the pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland signals the adrenal glands to release cortisol. And cortisol, as you may or may not know, is the stress hormone. That is your stress response. And elevated cortisol levels resulting from chronic worry can disrupt normal bodily functions. Cortisol shuts down digestion by reducing blood flow to the digestive organs and suppressing the release of digestive enzymes. Why does it do this? Because you're getting into fight or flight mode. And if you're going to fight that saber-toothed tiger or run away from it, you certainly don't need to be digesting food. So that system shuts down to give your energy towards your muscles so that it can fight or run away from the danger. So, potentially this leads to gastrointestinal problems, having no digestive enzymes, having blood flow restricted from your digestive system. You're going to end up with gastrointestinal problems. Now, cortisol also impairs reproductive functions by inhibiting the production of sex hormones. And this can affect menstrual cycles in women, fertility in both men and women. And why does this happen? Because if you're about to die by being eaten from a saber-toothed tiger, you don't need to worry about reproducing. So that system shuts down as well. And then additionally, cortisol negatively impacts things like metabolism, and this promotes fat storage and increasing the risk of obesity-related issues. And then moreover, it interferes with deep sleep and REM sleep patterns, as high cortisol levels can cause sleep disturbances, contributing to sleep disorders and reduced overall sleep quality. All of these interconnected effects underscore the profound impact of chronic worry on both mental and physical well-being. The body doesn't know the difference between being chased down by a saber-toothed tiger or a fight with your spouse or some sort of internal stressor, or worry as a stressor as well. So by now you can see how this can be a health and a business boundary. Now, I do have to give my general disclaimer. This podcast is not intended to be medical advice, and I don't claim to diagnose, treat, or cure disease. But what I can do for you is I can help you get to the root cause of the problem. And I'll share a little bit of my story about how I know about worry and the issues that it can bring about on the body and the mind. There was a time when I was very confident about my skills and my abilities, but I became a chronic worrier about health issues, and the reason why I became a chronic worrier about health issues is because I had no control over that, or at least I thought I had no control over it because I was not aware of all the things that I've learned as an integrative health practitioner and all the things that I've learned as a consulting hypnotist about how the subconscious mind works and how the body works and how all the systems of the body work together in a synergy and are not isolated as conventional medicine would lead you to believe. And, I was worried about things like success. I was worried about money every single day, and I was very unaware that I was inadvertently asking for what I did not want because of my focus on worrying about these things, worrying about health, worrying about success, worrying about money. Where was my attention? I was putting my attention on what I didn't have instead of what I wanted. And I got every bit of that, meaning I got more of what I didn't have. I got more declining health. And the more that I would worry, I would get into worry so much that I would feel a burning sensation in my adrenal glands. So the adrenals sit on top of your kidneys on either side of your body, so sort of towards your lower back, and I would feel this burning sensation in my adrenals. The more that I worried, the more it would burn because that cortisol was just being pumped out of my adrenals and into my body. And then I was worrying about career challenges. I felt unfulfilled and unrewarded in the career that I was in at the time. And then, of course, money struggles as well. I was what you would call a just enougher. I always had just enough money to pay and never any extra for the things that I wanted to do with my family or, enhance my career or anything like that. And because I was worried about that, I was focused on that, and that's what I was getting more of. And these were all directly proportional to where my attention was being placed. So what changed? What changed? Well, first of all, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I get sick and tired of being a just enougher. I get sick and tired of all of those things and being unfulfilled and unrewarded. And I decided to do something about it. And that's what changed, was my decision and the power of choice. But I chose to only take advice from people that were where I wanted to be. And then, of course, that advice turned into hiring these people as mentors. And, one of my mentors taught me how to rebalance my body and to be able to remove those toxicities and replace those deficiencies to reduce the stressors in my body and my body's ability to respond to that stress and anxiety and things like that. Another mentor helped me to reprogram my thinking, my ways of being, and to reframe what I was worried about. And I covered this in a couple of episodes ago, in episode 27, on harnessing the law of attraction and breaking free from limiting beliefs. I'll link that show up in today's show notes so you can check that out in case you missed that episode just last week. I believe that was. And I want to give credit where credit was due. My mentor that taught me everything that I know about integrative health. Well, I don't want to say everything I know because I've had several mentors in integrative health, but the one in particular that helped me get my coaching certifications, Dr. Stephen Cabral. So big shout out to him. I owe him so much for where I am today. And then also my other mentor that helped me with subconscious reprogramming, Jim Fortin. And you can check out both of those mentors because they are, online. They have an online presence with Jim Fortin has a wonderful podcast, Transform Your Life from the Inside Out. And Dr. Cabral has the Cabral Concept, as well as some other podcasts as well. So check them out. And I'm eternally grateful for both of them. So, the details about that is I can immediately recognize and interrupt those patterns of thought, those worried patterns of thought, and I can consistently create the model of reality that I want to have and live the worry-free life, that stress-free life that I once dreamed of having. So let's get into the plan. I want you to be able to imagine life without that boundary of constant and consistent worry. I want you to imagine a life where there's contentment, where there's feelings of serenity and calmness, a life where there's relaxation at will and assurance in your life, right? That surety that you want in your life, it's there for your taking. A life where you are completely confident in yourself, your abilities, and your future. A life where you feel levels of trust in yourself and trust that things are going to unfold for you in your future where you're not worrying about things. A life where you're full of optimism instead of pessimism, and a life full of joy and abundance and inner peace. You can have all those. And in a moment, you're about to discover some questions to help you to be able to break those boundaries. So your call to action here, I'm going to give you some questions to ponder on, some introspective questions. And I want you to, listen to these questions as I go through them. And then after I go through these questions, I want you to play this back and I want you to write these questions down and take some time to be able to answer these. So I'm going to go through these a little quickly. So don't try to write them down as I go through them the first time, but you can go back and you can write these down because there's 10 questions here. So here we go. These 10 questions to help you to get out of worry. How will you know when you have worried enough about either a lack of money or health problems or both? How will you know when you have worried enough? Is there an answer to that question? Next, number 2, are you a good worrier? How good are you at worrying? You an excellent worrier? How well do you worry? I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolutely debilitating worry. How well do you worry? Number 3, what if the people who taught you all of the negative beliefs about health and all of the negative beliefs about money, what if those people were wrong? Is an interesting question. Next, number 4. What do you value more, worrying or peace of mind? So you see, your peace of mind is in direct proportion to your worrying, and you cannot do both of those at the same time. Next, number 5. Have you realized that worrying about anything is really working from the subconscious premise that you are at the mercy of your circumstances? I know that's harsh, but when you worry, you actually become a victim of your own thinking. So do you want to be in victim mode, or do you want to be in creative mode, right? Number 6. Do you feel more powerful and happy when you worry or when you do not worry? You can choose either. Life is choice. So do you feel more powerful and happy when you worry or when you don't worry? Next, number 7. What is your intention for your worry? Look, you have intention about everything that you do. What purpose does it serve? What reward do you get from worry? And number 8. What has worry cost you? How much of your life has it cost you? Next, number 9. Does the identity of a healthy person or does the identity of a wealthy person resemble the way that you personally think about your health or about your money? And then last but not least, what is the number one thing you can now think about, health, that will actually help you to attain it instead of repelling it? So there are things that you can think about, but what's the number one thing that you can think about, health, that will help you to obtain it instead of repelling it? So I am here, my friend, to help you to avoid failure. I want you to play those questions back. I want you to write those questions down and do your best to answer honestly. And I want to hear your success story. I want to hear about the aha moments that you have. So you can either, if you're watching on video, you can leave a comment under the video, or you can send me a direct message on social media. You can email me. My email is all over my website as well. It's Jeffrey@loveenergywellness.com. I want you to refocus your attention. And I'm not asking you to go from, worry to, sunshine and rainbows. It's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm just simply asking you to go from negative to neutral. I want you to suspend any disbelief that you may have and just be in that neutral position and be consistent with that and experience what happens. Then you can shift from neutral to positive. But for now, just try to go from worry to neutral. So your 3 key takeaways here today, if you haven't gotten them already: your thinking is one of the activities that activates that HPA axis and causing that stress and causing that ill health, causing all those systems in your body to shut down. That negativity, that worry triggers that hypothalamus, which signals the pituitary gland, which then tells your adrenals to launch that cortisol for fight or flight mode and start shutting down all the systems of the body. Next takeaway is that you're being worried perpetuates what you don't want. And we really dove into that in episode 27 that I'll link up in the show notes. Next, you are the thinker of your thoughts, and you do get to choose your thoughts, do you not? And last, you have what you have because of where you're placing your attention. So that's it for today, my friends. I want you to stay tuned for the next episode of the Breaking Boundaries for Entrepreneurs podcast, where it'll be a Healthy Thursday episode. We're going to dive into the foundational supplements that you absolutely must be using on a daily basis. I'm grateful for you being here today. Please share this episode and leave a review so that we can help more people, because those certainly help get the word out. Every review counts, and I'd appreciate yours. And if you leave one, send me a screenshot and I'll give you a quick shout out on the next episode. And I will see you next time to help you with breaking boundaries. I appreciate you. Bye-bye. Before we say goodbye, you may not have realized it, but you can get free daily access to our thriving Love Energy Wellness community and support group, where you'll join health-conscious entrepreneurs just like you. I know you're concerned about your health, energy, and performance. That's why I personally answer your questions daily, invite you to our weekly live calls, and share pro wellness tips for energy and performance and exclusive offers just for our community members. This is also your support hub when we gather every 90 days for a total body and mind reset, also known as the world-renowned Dr. Cabral Functional Medicine Detox Protocol. You're going to love the way you feel every time. So if you're the kind of entrepreneur that values your health as your greatest asset, naturally you'll want to join and invite your friends, your family, and your colleagues to our community where you'll feel loved, supported, seen, and heard. Visit loveenergywellness.com to join the community, or the link is also right here in today's show notes. I'll see you soon.